which deck they want to play, while as... Oh no, don't tell me that Fwosh again got the... I think she's like 4-4-4 for her least favorite deck, the blue-black deck.
Yeah.
And for people that have just tuned in or are in the queue right now, tell us a little bit more about this blue-black deck and the red-blue deck.
The blue-black deck is very, very powerful in terms of like punching for damage, but very fragile. You make one or two mistakes, you're completely out of the game, especially when you have 10 less health to work with. But, oh, let's see if Fwosh gets better luck with this deck. Whereas the red-blue deck, I think combines the strength and weaknesses of the two colors. You get these very beefy red heroes like you see here, Bristleback just getting a clean kill, combined with the ultra late game and AoE power of blue. So just really nice combination, a very strong control deck.
Yeah, what are the cards that we should be looking out for in each of these decks?
So the win condition for both decks are very different. In the bottom side of the challenger, you're looking at some really high mana cards like Eclipse, Time of Triumph, Thunder God's Wrath. Whereas for Fwosh, you're looking at actually 3 mana cards like Disciple of Nevermore. You're trying to punch in damage and then just go for a really, really quick kill.
Yeah, and we see that as you said, like it's kind of like playing on a timer when you're playing these aggro decks. And this is true of pretty much every card game or every game that has a concept of aggro and control, right?
Sure.
Aggro puts the pressure, generally favors against control because it forces control to maybe inefficiently use the resources to try and stop that. But if control manages to pull through like, I don't know, that mana 7, mana 8 round, then things become much easier. However, this is not a total aggro deck because it has some high-end cards like Steam Cannon.
Yeah.
Steam Cannon open a Heartstopper Aura too. They open a separate win condition, which is I'm not gonna swarm you with a lot of creeps, but I'm gonna make a hole for Sorlakan to be able to pierce through their defenses. And Sorlakan has a passive that makes her extremely efficient against towers.
Yeah, speaking of Sorlakan, I think she is about to meet her end as a phase week gets equipped. And it's gonna jump in front of that angry lady.
You know what? That means less damage to a tower. And when you have 30 health, it's okay to trade some heroes sometime. Again, you have 2 heroes coming back next turn. You have a black and a blue hero, so you will be able to put them wherever you want. That Sorlakan will be coming later. It's not like that lane will be empty. And that's the thing, like sometimes you look at a lane that just feels like, oh no, that lane is terrible. They have 2 heroes, I have none, but you have to look at what's coming next as well. So this lane is, while technically empty, is going to have some cover in next turn.
Also, when you have 2 less hero in one lane, generally means you have 2 more heroes in a different lane. So it overall balances it out.
Yeah, Lucent Beam, another really important ability. I always talk whenever I see Luna is you want to have Luna die as much as possible.
As much as possible.
As much as possible. Well,
how are you going to get Luna beams? Lucent beams?
Oh, I'm saying as an opponent.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so
you want to kill Luna as fast as possible because every action phase that she survives, and look at that, Fwosh understands that and immediately goes for that battlefield control that allows you to change the attack of a unit from attacking the enemy in front of them to an enemy to the side. And now they're all ganging up on Luna and just getting this like 7 damage, which is just enough to kill her. And why is it important? Because this passive, as I said, every turn that she's alive at the beginning of the turn, she makes her Eclipse card stronger.
Ooh, kind of a misplay here for her opponent, but draws into a Ventriloquy anyways, so could taunt his way out.
Yeah, what was the play? Was it Ventriloquy on like...
He did Cunning Plan first. I thought he could swap Cunning Plan his Luna with this creep to save it.
Yeah.
But all according to Keikaku as he drops Ventriloquy and gets out of that jam.
That's all you need. And with that now we go into the shopping phase. Our challenger has 7 gold. That's good for getting that Blade of the Vigil, which is fantastic.
Fantastic.
An aggro deck.
Yeah. An aggro deck, especially this aggro deck, is trying to really widen the board. Especially like mid lane is a great example, right? It's a really wide board. You want to do anything that you can to shrink that board. And any kind of AoE damage, cleave is going to be absolutely perfect for that.
Yeah, not only that, also after you play that Disciple of Nevermore that gives -2 armor to every one of your units, that 2 cleave becomes 4 cleave. And 4 cleave is scary because it swipes every melee creep there is.
Yes.
So it makes you think twice before playing Disciple of Nevermore. You can still do it for the extra reach that it will give you, but if you want some sustained damage, your attack power will be heavily diminished by that swiping of the cleaving, killing probably 2 or 3 things every turn.
So we got an interesting decision point here for our challenger, Jason Bourne. He could be playing Red Mist Pillager to push for a lot of damage and grow his Red Mist army, or Conflagration to pressure the mid lane. And there's a lot of creeps here. We're going to see a little bit more of a defensive play. He understands that as the game goes longer and longer, his deck is favored. So I like this line of play a lot.
Yeah, now this will look like it's not doing that much. It only kills one creep, but it puts everything else like at the 2 health position, which means that the next conflagration will take away a lot of their power in this lineup.
Sure.
And another conflagration in response to that first lane. You know, like conflagration is a really interesting card because it allows you to commit less resources to handle a lane.
Yep.
You just put that conflagration. It's kind of like half a hero in a way, right? It's like you can't
Almost.
cast spells, but it's going to put pressure. It's going to be pushing the scripts. It's going to make sure that it doesn't go out of control. And one of the abilities that Blue has sometimes in some other decks is to create a lot of melee creeps. Conflagration is a card that you always want to see against that.
Conflagration a lot weaker against the red deck because the heroes have armor, they have creeps that have armor, and Cleave is going to be cleaning up all of these creeps.
Yeah, and also putting Zeus in a position where he's going to die at the beginning of next turn, so maybe forcing Fwosh to use the healing salve right now.
Still not in a good spot.
Not in a good spot, again. Really hard to maneuver this aggro deck, especially when you have a health disadvantage like that. Because part of being aggro means that you have to overcommit to a lane.
Yes.
And overcommitting to a lane means abandoning some other lanes. And that's okay when you have 40 health. But when you have only 30 health, you can't really abandon lanes too early and you can't abandon them too recklessly. That's where the conflagration helps. But other than that, it's just rough. The good thing for Fwosh is that Solar Can is coming back and she has a Heartstopper aura, so she might be able to put her in a place where there might be some space. So for example, that third lane looks pretty tempting. If she puts the Solar Can in front of the Luna, she will be committing 3 heroes to that lane, but actually she chooses not to do that.
She's going to go for the first lane because of the conflagration is there. She's going to double up.
That is true.
Kill both of the melee creeps that's in front of her and hopefully start to do quite a bit of damage.
Yeah. Unfortunately for her, there are red mist villagers here that are going to be able to stop the damage from the Solar Cannon. That's a lot of damage. However,
or Eclipse. How many charges do we have? 4 charges.
Have
that's
4 charges in Eclipse.
perfectly
that's
enough.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And that's Solar Cannon. That's tough. Like, the thing is, you really want to put a health item into Solar Cannon as soon as possible because even though she hits really, really hard, and especially to towers, her 6 health body is one of her biggest liabilities.
I think she will be too powerful as a unit if she has massive attack and massive health. So
I think. Oh, actually, well, there's no
no Eclipse.
No Eclipse coming. He thought he could get away with a cheaper New Orders, just using 1 mana to get rid of that.
Okay.
But now realizes that actually that might not have been enough. And the Assault Ladders also puts the pressure here. This is fantastic for Fwosh because with the Conflagration and the Heartstopper Aura, she's going to be clearing any melee creep that comes in front of her. This Zeus is going to die next turn necessarily. And not only that, the fact that things dying in the turn after is really good because
that is the best way to kill heroes in my opinion.
Not only you disable the heroes for 2 turns, you still leave the holes open. So like if you want to put a new hero, you put it here, you are sure that it's not going to be contested by a potential new creep that can come.
For sure.
And then when it dies, you have that lane open.
Now our challenger can buff up the health of Zeus, and by using the face boots.
Yeah.
So that's.
He also can use the face boots to swap
and attack Sorlakan.
And attack Sorlakan if he wants to.
Okay,
we are double face boots here. So that's a lot of swapping shenanigans that can happen.
No swapping at all. Okay.
Yeah, an interesting play right there would have been to swap the Red Mist Pillager with the Ogre and then swap the Zeus with the Red Mist Pillager so that the Red Mist Pillager would be open.
And you can start going,
well,
growing your army.
You really can't because there's a conflagration, but at least you would have put the damage in the tower. Ooh, look at that.
Strafing run. Unfortunately, Fwosh doesn't have another blue spell, which would have been awesome in killing both the Shaker and the melee creep with the Zeus static.
Zeus is going to die next turn, necessarily, because just the 2 damage will put him below the 2 health threshold, and the conflagration will do the rest of the job. Maybe a good lane for Necrophos to come back in, though, because those really weak heroes, any spell that Fwosh can draw, and even that steam cannon that is in her hand, can start creating holes, not only for the Heartstopper or, for the Sadist, to start increasing the health of the Necrophos, but also putting some more pressure on those towers. And she really needs that pressure because all the towers on the Challengers side are pretty healthy, right?
Yeah, here comes that Eclipse. It was saved from the first lane to this lane, and it's gonna be good here as well.
I think Fwosh is happy with this Eclipse because all you get is 3 damage to the tower,
Yes.
and getting rid of that Crystal Maiden, while it kind of is not the greatest thing, there were no blue spells to cast.
Yeah, and she wasn't really pressuring for damage herself. She was pushing for like 5. So
Nah.
now she gets initiative back, which is possibly quite important here against a Zeus that is going to threaten to cast Thunder God's Wrath.
Right.
I think she could develop a steam cannon of her own.
I think the first thing you might want to do is place the Traveler's Cloak. That way you're outside of range.
Sure.
You know that there's no Berserker's Call, there's no Duel in this deck.
It could be
An Eclipse.
She could be afraid of Eclipse. So it depends on what she deems more important, Sorlacon's life or that steam cannon being developed.
Right.
And you could make an argument for both.
Here comes the Conflagration. And again,
Eclipse.
that's really, really good. So yeah, we'll see what happens right here. Right now, I think, yeah, the two options are Traveler's Cloak, which will require a 6-charge Eclipse to clear. And with 5 charges, you have a small chance of surviving. Actually, a pretty large chance of surviving. You have a 66% chance. And the Steam Cannon, which will guarantee that Sorlacan will die to Eclipse. However, it will also guarantee that you can get rid of the Zeus, or even more importantly, the Bristleback, for example.
Okay.
She chooses to go for the Steam Cannon. Now, putting herself open to Eclipse and potentially losing on the 18 damage to a tower and just only going to 4. However, that Steam Cannon is there and is going to be there forever. Here it comes, and yeah, this is the scary thing, right? Like Thunder God's Wrath.
It cleans out 2 heroes, but the bright side is, if you look at the towers, none of Fwosh's towers are taking significant amount of damage.
Especially if the Steam Cannon.
Yeah.
Which, look at this, Bristleback has 6 armor now because of that kill. You don't have to be in the active lane, or you don't even have to be in combat for that Baron Brawler to win. As long as the hero blocking it dies, no matter when, you will get the bonus armor. However, armor means nothing against piercing damage, so that Steam Cannon can be a useful tool to get rid of that Bristleback, and that's pretty much what's going to happen.
Yep. And of course, the melee creep on the mid lane also currently pressuring the Earthshaker.
Here we have some Swapperoonie. It doesn't really help that much. I mean, it makes the Zeus take the damage instead of the Keith, the Bolt.
Keith normally is okay taking hits, you know?
Yeah. And the Traveler's Cloak is probably the best answer for that. You don't want to Fissure. You don't want to waste your Fissure here. Also, this is one of the best positions for an Earthshaker to be in, because if you deploy a hero, you know it's going to be in front of the Earthshaker, at least close to him.
Sure.
Guaranteeing that if you have priority, if you have initiative, then you are going to die to... sorry, you're going to get stunned by that Fissure.
Yeah.
As we see that, we see the Lucent Beam hitting the Necrophos for 1, that plus the 4 from the Thunder God's Wrath was threatening lethal on him, but the Traveler's Cloak equipment makes him survive and trade with the Luna. Now, this is an interesting question. Do you want to burn an Eclipse here?
Yeah, a lot of, I think, newer players would be tempted to be like, oh, I'm going to use my Eclipse, kill their hero, save mine. Not necessarily always the right choice, especially...
No, definitely not. And that Heartstop Aurora coming there hurts a little bit, and maybe makes you think about, like, well, do I want the Eclipse now? Because now I'm just one conflagration away from having the deadly combination that we had with Sorlacan, and every time something dies, that Necrophos' health becomes stronger and stronger as well. So chooses not to, gets a +1 health, gets the clear world, and the Heartstop Aurora is now equipped.
I think for Jason Bourne, he knows that he could Thunder Gods the hero away from across. So even though there is that combination that you mentioned, he could take care of it from before he even gets there. So Jason Bourne, really patient man, you know?
I mean, he is Jason Bourne.
He is Jason Bourne. All right, a lot more heroes coming back in now. The threat of this blue-red deck is coming to realization here. Mana 8, Time of Triumph in hand. Can Fwosh do anything to stop this from happening? I don't think so.
Well, this deck is not really equipped to deal with...
that, sure.
Yeah, with Time of Triumph. Normally you would, if you're trying to make deck a little more competitive, that's one of the things that you would try to find an answer to. Ways to get rid of heroes with a lot of armor, ways to get rid of, or maybe just be more aggressive and make sure that you don't have enough time to get to that turn 8. So having said that, I don't think right now there's much to do other than those steam cannons. That will be a little bit of help, but not that much help. And trying to forego whichever lane the Time of Triumph goes to and try to take the other two instead.
Yep. Conflagration in hand as well. For Fwosh, she can double it up on that right lane, like you mentioned,
Yes.
with the Necro spell.
That would be pretty useful. Unfortunately, the Necro has nothing in front of him, so not doing damage. The Heartstopper Aura wasted this turn. Heartstopper Aura is a really hard spell to play.
Yes, it is.
It seems simple, it seems really straightforward, but it does nothing immediately. You have to wait until the next turn, and then your hero can die. Deployment can put things in a way that you don't expect. So it's always fantastic long term.
Interesting
Ooh,
conflagration
yeah.
in this lane with heroes that already have a ton of armor.
Yes, so every conflagration does 2 damage. The damage doesn't stack, it's 2 instances of 2 damage. Each one of those will be completely absorbed by these 4 and 5 armor respectively.
And that the hammer.
Yeah, oh,
gonna-
Frostbite is a good answer again. Well, it's a temporary answer
Yeah.
against Time of Triumph. Choosing to still take the 7 damage to the tower and stopping the 9 damage that would otherwise come from the Red Mist Ball, because that Red Mist Ball gives you a lot of siege.
And you can see Moy the Wise is still actually taking 4 damage in return, because one of the many things that Time of Triumph does is also give 4 retaliate. So
Yep.
when you hit it into him, you're getting hit back.
Yep, and now I think the play is Steam Cannon into the Earth Shaker, making sure that there's nothing that can be caught from
Sure.
there. Protecting, as you said, from Thunder Ghost Wrath. And with that, actually, the aggro deck recovers and gains a little bit of ground right now.
Yeah, I mean, if we don't see more Time of Triumph, I think Fwosh's chances is not terrible. It's still pretty bad.
I mean, I see a Dimensional Portal and 2 Disciples of Nevermore, and I think with just 1 Dimensional Portal and
Is it going to be a push for 80?
It could, well, at least it could take this tower just by itself.
Yes, and I think that's exactly what we're going to see here.
Another greedier play would be like maybe Disciple of Dimensional Portal Assault Ladder or double Disciple of Nevermore. But this seems to be like a good combination right now.
I think that's exactly what Fwosh is thinking about. Can I kill this tower right now and still retain the possibility to just win the game next turn?
So with Dimensional Portal, that would be, yes. That'll be
Okay.
13 damage. And now both Assault Ladder and Disciple of Nevermore buff everything. Oh, wow, actually, the Crystal
The
Maiden.
Crystal Maiden Aura comes in
Arcane
handy,
Aura,
yeah.
yes.
So if you double Assault Ladder here, no, it's going to be...
well, you can do both, right?
Well, I'm just thinking if it's safer to not play the Disciples.
Right.
Because the Disciple represent more damage, but also represents the fact that if I get Conflagration, I'm dead.
Yes.
Also, that means that their Thunder Gods also do more.
Yes.
So I think I would have preferred double Assault Ladder, and then on the final GG push, essentially, you go with the double Disciple. Because now, I think Fwosh, excuse me, wants to put Sorla Khan in that lane, but Sorla Khan essentially only has 4 health, exactly dies to a Thunder God.
Yep, and
So-
we might see that happen. I think that is the commitment that we're seeing. I'm actually surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that Sola Khan would have gone to that middle lane as well. But she does have the Zeus from that lane, and she doesn't have anything in her hand that is a blue spell. But she could get something that would get her out of that pickle and maybe help her prepare against that Thunder Ghost Wrath.
Also, I think it comes down to whether Jason Bourne drops another conflagration. If he draws one, then that last lane is...
Yes.
That's a yikes.
Taking his time to think where the Luna will go.
Yeah.
Doesn't need that Luna in that first lane. That lane seems to be pretty much under control, and now trying to decide to put her in the third or the second lane.
Luna going the final lane is also great because Eclipse is starting to become a big charge spell and pretty much one-shots everything in this lane.
Well, Thunder Ghost Wrath one-shots everything.
Yes.
And I think that's the play right now. With initiative going to Jason Bourne will probably be able to see those conflagrations doing nothing right now. We'll probably be able to Thunder Ghost Wrath, clear
All the heroes.
in this lane.
Yep.
And pretty much regain control of the situation.
Still don't need to find that second tower kill for Jason Bourne.
Bam, bam, bam. They're all dead.
That's a Thunder God for a triple kill.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Achievement.
Frostbite can be casted.
Yes, Frostbite will help this tower survive one more turn.
Yes.
I think you have to.
I think she might want to save that Frostbite for the Zeus in mid lane. Might be a very tempting.
That is true. There's no hero coming back next turn. That's, again, another... To me, the scariest part of the game is when all my 5 heroes are deployed.
Yes, and also when all of them are dead at the same time. That means you have absolutely no control on the battlefield. And that seems to be the case here, or very close to it for Fwosh. Tower is going to go down. She will give it up and retain that Frostbite. In fact, she has Frostbite and battlefield control, but also being pressured by the conflagration.
Yeah, that 6 armor on Bristleback feels like it's going out of control. This is just from killing heroes in front of him all the time.
Yeah.
So with that Frostbite, he is going to be disarmed. That Zeus potentially can survive.
But the Zeus is going to die still.
Well,
to the improvement.
To the conflagration next turn.
Yeah.
So almost maybe would have been better if this Zeus died
for her to die. Yeah, it's a tough one right now.
I guess you can still battlefield control and move the. No, that doesn't help anything. You can stop 2 damage from the tower by battlefield control into the creep. You can Kinfolk Musket the Zeus and kill this creep.
I think I would battlefield control Jason Bourne's melee creep that's attacking my building for 2 right now into my melee creep. I feel like you just do anything to hold on.
Interesting. I was thinking, what if you move battlefield control Jason Bourne's creep into Zeus so that Zeus dies this turn.
Okay.
And then you Kinfolk Musket.
Sure, you save it.
And you kill it, so you actually trade and you save 2 creeps.
Yeah, that's a great. Well, are we actually saving creeps against conflagration?
That is true.
This conflagration is just working. Okay,
new orders. Okay.
Well, they did
that for him.
Control for you.
I'm happy with that if I'm Fwosh.
Yeah.
That's one less turn that Zeus is dying, so I'm gonna go say thank you. You saved me a battlefield control usage. How nuanced is this game?
Very, very nuanced.
Yeah, now I think you shoot the creep, right? Yes.
Shoot the creep. This is where the healing salve on creep is actually a great move.
Oh yeah. Sometimes you're like, I don't know, it took me like months to accept the fact that sometimes
healing salve a creep. Oh yeah.
Or healing salve the opponent.
Yes, I'm starting to learn that right now.
Yes, you can heal them. No BM, it's good. 9 armor on that Bristleback, by the way.
Okay.
No big deal.
Do you blow an eclipse here? I think this is a pretty good spot to eclipse.
Yeah, this is rough, right?
Yeah. Karen throws her arms up.
Yep.
Which you know, it's tough. So that I think goes pretty much her win condition anywhere.
Well, he does have another Disciple of Nevermore and another Assault Ladder, so you could see something like Assault Ladders into lane 2, into Disciple of Nevermore, Dimensional Portal, and like have a big push. But
step 1 right now is to survive. That mid lane without any help of any heroes. For Fwosh, she would like to see 2 creeps flying into that lane for now.
Now, it's also worth mentioning how different the game would be if she had 40 health.
Yes. I think she would essentially get an extra turn on the first lane and in the middle lane. And also in the last lane.
Yes.
So.
Worth mentioning, team wipe.
Yes.
These
you don't see team wipes that often.
No, it doesn't happen, but when it happens, oh boy, it hurts.
Yeah.
Fortunately for her, she still has a steam cannon, so there's something that she can do. I guess the best thing that she can do right now is either kill this creep or kill this creep. Because this creep, they're going to die, right?
Yeah.
So you're either blocking, removing some damage from the tower, or you are making sure that there's a blocker for next turn. But it's rough. I think I would just kill one of these creeps, these 2, and try to reduce as much damage as possible. Pray that the opponent doesn't have a poise to strike. Oh, second conflagration is there.
There goes all the creeps.
Steam cannon.
Yeah.
She might be really wanting to keep priority. Now she realizes that she can't, because that's another creep that is going to be hitting the tower. Has to use the steam cannon.
Is that lethal? I believe it is. That is 15 damage represented on the mid lane, I think.
Yep. You can play another conflagration.
Sure. Why not?
And there's also the red beast pillager.
Stack it up.
Fwosh looking like she's gotten to the end of the line. Of course, she doesn't know it yet.
I think she knows.
I think she knows too.
I think when you go for a one big push.
9 plus 4, 11,
Yeah.
13, 15. I have 14.
Yeah.
This is rough.
I think the day where
Oh, she acknowledges it. She thumbs up.
I think
Third
the day where
just in
where
case.
Valve designs an item that could heal a hero across lane.
Haha,
That is
that would be something.
that would be something.
Yeah, and now here's the pass. And the magic coin that says if you pass here, you win. Oh, a little bit of BM coming
Okay.
from Jason Bourne.
Jason Bourne don't mess around.
No, yeah, look at that.
He kills you and he kills you dead, you know?
Yeah, just to make sure, you know, like there's no surprises. There's no like, you activated my trap card.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and that's a GG. Jason from Vancouver taking one game of Fwosh. Congratulations, Jason.